For provinces and territories, as well as the municipalities, not having a federal budget has a pretty big impact on them because last summer, in the middle of the pandemic, the federal government approved a huge transfer to the provinces, and then they passed some of that down to the municipalities to get them through the fact that the buses aren't running and that shops are closed, all these support programs that provinces and municipalities also offered in addition to the federal support. So whether or not there's going to be a second year of transfers, that's the kind of thing that you'd see in a budget. So not having a budget means there's a little bit of uncertainty. Some provinces have stepped in and given some of the cities some money, but now the provinces are also going to be looking for some top-ups as well. So anybody who got by with temporary help from the federal government last year is going to be looking for similar help, at least in the first part of this year.
The priority that all Canadians have right now is getting through this pandemic, and that is what we are focused on.
One of the interesting things about this budget is this was when we're going to finally see all of these measures that the government has been promising since probably about August or so. That was when they prorogued Parliament, and Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland were talking about how they need this big, ambitious Build Back Better recovery plan to relaunch the economy. But the pandemic didn't cooperate with that plan, and it's been a lot longer and a lot worse than they had thought then. So they delayed launching those plans until the fall update, and then by the fall update in November, pandemic was still going on, so those plans were pushed off into a budget. Normally a budget comes in March or even February. We've reported that's not going to happen this year. It could be April or even May. And that kind of timing it's starting to look like this could be a springboard for a federal election. Because so if that's when we see this big plan that the federal government has been promising for quite a long time about a recovery plan, potentially childcare plan, pharmacare, all that kind of stuff, it sounds a lot like an election campaign. We don't know entirely whether that's going to happen, not yet, but it certainly can't be ruled out.
This historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country.
We've seen also in the United States, they just approved a big package of emergency spending. There weren't major tax increases in there, but we're seeing parts of the leaders of the Biden administration saying eventually they're going to have to look at some tax increases to close their deficit gap. So I think reading between the lines, it doesn't look like this federal government in Canada is going to move too heavily on tax increases right now, especially with the possibility of a federal election on the horizon. But sooner or later, I mean, this deficit spending can't continue on forever. So tough decisions are going to have to be made at some point, and that could include tax increases of some form or another. And certainly in Ottawa, the political parties are certainly buzzing about an election. It's possible. I think the rate of vaccination is going to determine whether we not have an early summer election or whether that's something that's going to have to wait until the fall.